Hi, and welcome to Hull & Hull TV. I'm Dana O'Brien, and I'm joined by Ian Hull, partner at Hull & Hull LLP, an innovative law firm that practices exclusively in estate, trust, and capacity litigation. Here at Hull & Hull TV, we're exploring the issues around estate planning that affect you. Ian, one of the goals of an estate plan is to make sure a will is in fact the last word and won't be challenged in court. What's your experience? How common is it for a will to be challenged?
Well, it is a profound goal, and it has to be the goal that when a client comes in. And sometimes as lawyers, we get a bit lazy, and I remind myself constantly that this is much, much more important to the client across the table than you probably are estimating. And the truth is, most of the time, it's not challenged. It is a statistically low percentage where wills are challenged in the grand scheme of will drafting.
So when they are challenged, what's the most common reason?
Well, it often, it's hard to tell when to start. Many people come in and they sort of want to tire kick a bit and get a sense of what's involved, and they want to tease out their side of the story because remember, they've come at it with their own perspective. But legally, the highest percentage of will challenges focuses on capacity. And the age-old test, it's been around since the 1870s, it's not even all that legalistic. It's just the courts say you have to know and understand the nature and effect of your dispositions and those who would properly enjoy your bounty, i.e. who are dependents of you. And that test and that capacity element of a will challenge is really the fundamental step that is taken on most will challenges.
So as our population ages and capacity comes into question, does that mean your will should be updated more often? You should see your estate lawyer more often? What's your advice?
Well, that's a really interesting perspective. I think in some respects, once you've got it done right, you may not want to be going back to the well repeatedly because you have often got yourself in a situation where capacity has been properly assessed. You maybe have supported it with a doctor's opinion. You've done it far enough away from the time of death that it is not as challenging for someone to accept. And I mean that what happens in lots of cases is this idea of 5 minutes to midnight estate planning can be a big problem to judges, and it can be a major factor to a will challenge. And that is not that the capacity was that weak or strong, rather the timing was terrible. And if you do something right before you're going to die, that brings with it its own lawsuit almost in that respect. So I'm not a big fan of coming in repeatedly, especially later in life, unless things are going to change.
You talked about tire kickers. How do you dissuade the tire kickers? What do you say?
Well, I think it's easy. And then the first is that you just make sure you've walked through the costs of this. This is litigation. It is loser paid most of the time, and that is that the loser will pay you. If you win or lose, it matters. And the emotional stress of any litigation. So my push with clients is often just sit back and understand what you're going to get yourself into, and that is a war. And it is litigation war in many respects, and all of the same things that come with it that you would think about in a family fight or in a construction fight or any of those kinds of commercial litigation.
And it's costly.
It's tremendously costly, and overwhelmingly costly. That's the truth.
Ian, thank you. And thanks for joining us on Hull & Hull TV.